Hi, this is Wishop, and I'm going to sneak in a quick playing card Gypsy card reading for the new moon. The dark of the moon is just passed, and we'll be heading toward a full moon in Sagittarius on what day? Okay, full moon Sagittarius on June 17th. So through them, we're working through this new moon in Gemini. So that can have to do a lot with communication and short distance travel and things in the mental realm. And because there has been such an emphasis in the earth sector, that's really been just, I'm saying holding things down, but I don't necessarily mean in a way that is stopping progress, but I mean it's strengthening. It's needing strength, and it's wanting all of us to build our strength for whatever our next endeavors are. So Gemini can be kind of flighty and airy. It is the air sign. It's also known as the social butterfly. So think about that. So you can be thinking about, oh, it's a butterfly, but it's being weighed down by all this earth. But I don't think that's as useful as thinking about a really strong character, whatever that would look like to you. It could be an animal, it could even be an elephant, like a wise elephant with a butterfly on its shoulder. So something where you're going to get the best of both worlds. That's what we're always trying to do. Anyway, I want to thank Melody, who also has a YouTube channel, for letting me know that the next element in the bicycle decks was available. I have had this one for a while. This is Bicycle Element of Fire. And I think she has it too. She's even a bigger collector than I am, so she's great to follow if you're into cards. But anyway, they came out after kind of a long gap with the new element, which is ice. So she put that up on her channel. So I ran out to get it yesterday because she said she'd seen it. So the other deck that I picked up yesterday at the same time was this Bicycle Fireflies deck, which is just beautiful. So we're going to do a reading with a Gypsy Witch card. I happen to love the Gypsy Witch. People have love-hate and sometimes hate relationships with this deck because it can feel sort of shocking, or some people find it kind of ugly or not intuitive. And anyway, I don't know what to say. I have kind of a building love affair. The more I use it, the more I like it. So I'm going to do one of those, and we've got one of these brand new Fireflies cards, which you'll be able to see the other side of. And then while I'm doing playing cards, I got this Frontier deck from a friend of mine, if you can see these. So these cards have movie posters on them from Westerns. So there are some duplicates in the deck, but there's a large variety of these movie posters in there. So Western movie posters have these great names, and those can give you further information to kind of work off of. So we're going to have one of these. So I'm not going to talk too much more about the astrology, except to say probably whatever you're into, you're wanting it now. You're wanting a breakthrough, and you're feeling a little bit of impatience with things that take you away from your greatest goals. Part of the reason I say that is because I'm feeling that too. And when I do a general reading, you end up sort of in the basket of fate with me, because if I don't have a specific other target for a reading and it's just general, it's naturally going to include stuff that's relevant for me, as it hopefully is relevant to you. Anyway, so just to let you know, so I'm having that sense of impatience, like there are things I'd like to work on, these concrete things, these goals that I have, and the things that are distracting me the things that are requiring my attention away from that, I'm not feeling that patient with. So I'm trying to have a good attitude about it and realize I'm not losing any time. Everything's going to happen like it's supposed to. But I just sort of wish I could work on the things that I'm really passionate about right now instead of kind of needing to handle some of these other things. So you can let me know in the comments if that's something that you're experiencing too, but let's get to the cards. So here's the Gypsy Witch. Okay, the Railroad forecasts a long journey. It says if near 44 and 29, those don't really matter because we've only got the one card. But it's also the Two of Clubs, which twos can be generally sort of decision cards, right? And twos always sort of create a threshold. They create a doorway through which you can pass. And the Two of Clubs is a doorway of endeavor, of opportunity, of enterprise. So these tend to be the kind of plans that you're trying to make or the kind of partnerships that you're trying to make that have a concrete outcome, which is exactly what I'm talking about. And the Railroad here seems to be reminding me, at least, it's a long journey. You don't have to get there tomorrow. You know, it's a process, not the destination, all that stuff, which is all true and yet frustrating to hear. Or at least I find it so. So the Railroad says you may be at the beginning of a journey. It's a journey at which perhaps you've just crossed the threshold. You're just at the beginning. Or you realize that you're crossing a threshold, that you're picking a track to be on. And that is making a difference in the way you run your life and the things that you do. And it also probably is making a difference in your communications with others. So let's go with the, Fireflies card. Okay, King of Spades. So this deck has kind of a metallic look to it, the way it's printed. I'd like to show you one of the other cards that has, this big. See this big, like you end up with these glowing green spots, which are kind of the fireflies. And then there's this idea that it's like almost molded metal around the shapes. I kind of like it. But this is the King of Spades. And one of the things I say about the King of Spades, it's an executioner card. It is a double-edged sword, as the Queen of Spades is. But the King of Spades is ready to act. It's making decisions. What do we keep? What do we get rid of? You know, if you think of the king having a sword and might be knighting one character and might be cutting off the head of another, you can see that you are making decisions about what you are going to honor in your life, what you're going to celebrate in your life, and also what you're going to get rid of. But one thing I'm thinking, just because it sort of relates to me, because the king in spades will have to do with the mental realm, and that will also tend to do with the world of words, of communication, of putting together messages, declarations. This king is not so much persuading as declaring, here's my decision, here's how I feel about it, here's my point of view. So there's a little bit of a take it or leave it quality to this king, frankly. But what I think is happening, or at least as I'm reading it, is if there is a journey that you're on, and we had the idea in previous readings to kind of keep that on the DL, kind of keep that to yourself, really develop that. We're entering with this new moon in Gemini, the time of communication, where you declare, here it is. And when you think of the king knighting someone, you think that that the king is elevating this other person above the rest of the crowd. And knighting is a public thing. It's designed to change the public status of this other person. So the idea here is, what are you willing to make public in terms of your allegiance, in terms of a decision that you've made about your life. Are you willing to go public with it? Is it time to say, I choose this above other things? So I feel like that's kind of the question. You know, if you've started on this journey, do people get to know what it says on your ticket? Like, do people get to know where you're headed, where your head is at? This can be a thing too, like letting people know, especially people close to you, like, where's your head at? What is it you're doing? What is it that you've determined? Because you're probably going to come across as very decisive right now. And that's good, because I get the feeling this decision, certainly with the readings that we've had over the last several months, this is a result of something that's been a time-intensive kind of contemplation. This isn't like a spur-of-the-moment thing. This is something that you've been really building up to, which is why you can say it with the force of a king, because you know this, and you're the king of yourself. You know, you're the boss of yourself. So this is asking if you are taking this sovereign rulership role over something in your life that you have the right to make a decision about. This isn't someone else, because you're the king of this area. Is it time to come out and say, this is what I'm choosing, and this is what I'm choosing to get rid of? So let's see what we end up with the Frontiers card. Oh, okay. We have the Joker, the wild card. And this is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, so this is like, it's interesting because this reminds me of the geomancy reading that I just did, where if we changed our thoughts, we were going to change them in the direction of the King of Spades, which was the cauda draconis, meaning we were going to be willing to leave something behind, even if the end was messy. And so what it's looking like here is that change of mind is really coming forward, and it's it's making us willing to say, at this point, I'm going to be the king of me. I don't care what anyone else says about this. I am ready to take the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm ready to deal with the wild cards that come up. And one thing that I think this means, that I've been sort of seeing more generally in other readings I've done, is that your help will come from unexpected sources. Once you are declared, once you are decided, your help, this wild card, is going to come from unexpected sources. And it could be people who you did not think of your allies, or did not think of allies as your allies before. Sorry. It could be people who you thought of as even enemies. You didn't think they were on your side, and your view of them as whether or not they're good or bad or ugly is going to change based on you make a declaration in a different realm, and they come forward or appear to you as supporters. Or and of course this can work the other way. People who you thought were behind you no matter what say, well, I was behind you, but now that I found out that you're getting into birdhouse collecting, I just can't be with you on that. And so there is a bit of a shakeout quality here, where people who are really behind you and people who are not really behind you are going to declare themselves as you declare yourself. But this sorting hat, this sorting that you're doing, is very important, because you don't want people who aren't really with you on this journey. So if this journey especially has to do with a career endeavor or a project, something in which you're going to put a lot of time and effort, you really want to make sure that your allies are your allies, and that you are firm in your declaration. So that's what I've got for this time. Thanks very much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. Check out the rest of my videos, including the one on geomancy if you haven't seen that, or my geomancy playlist. And until next time, rock on with your bad selves.